If you've ever held a Lincoln Wheat Penny in your hand, you could be holding one of the most valuable small coins in American history. Some wheat pennies that still exist today have sold for tens of thousands of dollars, and a few rare examples have even crossed the six-figure mark. In this video, I'm revealing which Lincoln Wheat Pennies are worth serious money, why collectors are paying so much for them right now, and how to tell if the penny in your pocket is one of the valuable ones. Most people overlook these coins every day, and that mistake could cost them a fortune. Make sure you watch this video all the way through, because the most valuable wheat pennies are coming up later. Subscribe to Coins Most Valuable now, so you never miss hidden U.S. coins worth money. Coin number 1, most people think the 1944 wheat penny is just another old copper coin. But that belief has already cost Americans thousands of dollars. There is a specific 1944 wheat penny with no mint mark that collectors aggressively hunt for. And the difference between an ordinary-looking penny and a life-changing one comes down to details most people never check. In this video, you're going to learn why this single-year penny is considered valuable, what makes it stand out from millions of others, and why you should never ignore a 1944 wheat penny again. The 1944 wheat penny with no mint mark is one of those American coins that looks completely ordinary at first glance, yet hides a story that collectors, historians, and everyday Americans find fascinating. This coin was produced during one of the most intense periods in United States history, right in the middle of World War II, when metal shortages, wartime production pressures, and rapid minting schedules all collided. Because of this unique moment in time, the 1944 wheat penny without a mint mark carries historical importance, strong collector demand, and real monetary value that continues to grow year after year. Many people have owned this coin at some point without ever realizing what makes it special or why collectors actively search for high-quality examples today. What immediately stands out about the 1944 wheat penny with no mint mark is that it was struck at the Philadelphia Mint, which traditionally did not place a mint mark on coins during that era. In 1944, the United States Mint returned to using copper-based planchets after briefly experimenting with steel in 1943. This change alone makes 1944 a crucial year in Lincoln wheat penny history. The Philadelphia Mint produced hundreds of millions of these coins to support daily commerce. Yet despite the large mintage, truly desirable examples are far scarcer than most people realize, especially when condition, strike quality, and originality are taken into account. Collectors value the 1944 no-mint mark wheat penny not simply because of its age, but because it represents a transition back to copper after wartime experimentation. These pennies were made using recycled shell casings from military ammunition, which adds another layer of historical significance. Holding this coin means holding a tangible piece of American wartime industry, where even small denominations like the penny played a role in the national effort. This story alone increases demand among collectors who value history as much as rarity. Condition plays a massive role in determining how valuable a 1944 wheat penny with no mint mark can be. While worn examples still hold collector interest, coins that retain strong detail on Lincoln's portrait, clear wheat stalks on the reverse, and original luster are the ones that attract serious attention. Many of these pennies were heavily circulated, meaning high-grade survivors are far less common than raw mintage numbers suggest. This is where many people underestimate the value of their coins, assuming all 1944 wheat pennies are the same, when in reality, small differences can create large value gaps. Another factor that adds value to the 1944 wheat penny with no mint mark is strike quality. During wartime production, dies were often used longer than ideal, resulting in weaker strikes. Coins that show sharp lettering, bold date numerals, and well-defined wheat ears stand out dramatically to collectors. These premium examples are the ones that appear in auctions, collections, and price guides as standout coins worth far more than average circulated pieces. This is why knowledgeable collectors examine every 1944 wheat penny closely rather than dismissing it as common. The design itself also contributes to ongoing demand. The Lincoln Wheat Penny is one of the most iconic designs in American coinage, instantly recognizable and deeply tied to U.S. history. The obverse portrait of Abraham Lincoln and the reverse wheat ears symbolize both leadership and prosperity, themes that resonate strongly with American collectors. Because the wheat reverse ended in 1958, all wheat pennies, including the 1944 no-mintmark issue, continue to benefit from nostalgic appeal and generational collecting interest. Market demand for wheat pennies has remained strong for decades, and the 1944 no-mintmark issue consistently appears on lists of coins collectors actively seek in higher grades. While beginners may start collecting wheat pennies for fun, advanced collectors often aim to upgrade specific dates like 1944 with better condition examples. This ongoing demand creates competition, and competition is what supports long-term value. Even during market fluctuations, key wartime issues like this tend to hold their ground. Era varieties also play a role in the appeal of the 1944 wheat penny with no mint mark. Although rare, certain errors and unusual characteristics can dramatically increase value. Off-metal strikes, die cracks, and planchet irregularities from the wartime transition period are especially desirable. While not every 1944 penny will have an error, the possibility alone encourages collectors to examine every example carefully, keeping interest in this date consistently high. Another reason this coin remains valuable is survival rate. While millions were struck, far fewer remain today in collector-quality condition. Many were lost, damaged, or melted over the decades. Coins that avoided harsh cleaning, corrosion, or heavy wear are increasingly difficult to find. This natural attrition over time continues to push demand higher for well-preserved examples, making the 1944 wheat penny with no mint mark a long-term collectible rather than a forgotten pocket coin. Price trends also support the idea that this coin is far from ordinary. Auction results over the years have shown steady appreciation for top-quality examples. Collectors are willing to pay strong premiums for coins with high appeal, originality, and historical significance. This is especially true for Philadelphia minted wartime coins, which represent the backbone of U.S. coin production during the 1940s. The historical context of 1944 cannot be overstated. This was a year when American industry was fully mobilized, families were making sacrifices, and the nation was focused on victory overseas. Coins produced during this time were part of everyday life, passing through countless hands while the country changed forever. That emotional and historical connection adds intangible value that cannot be replicated by modern coins, making the 1944 wheat penny with no mint mark more than just a piece of copper. Collectors today recognize that coins tied to major historical periods often perform well over time. As new generations become interested in World War II history and tangible artifacts from that era, coins like the 1944 wheat penny naturally benefit. This steady influx of interest helps ensure continued demand and reinforces the idea that this coin is indeed valuable, both financially and historically. Now here is the part that surprises most people. While average circulated examples may trade modestly, the very finest known examples of the 1944 wheat penny with no mint mark have achieved astonishing results at auction. In fact, the highest price ever recorded at auction for a 1944 wheat penny with no mint mark is $149,000, a figure that clearly proves just how valuable this coin can be under the right conditions. This is why every 1944 wheat penny deserves a closer look. Whether found in an old jar inherited collection or saved from circulation decades ago, this coin carries real potential. Its wartime origin, classic design, collector demand, and proven auction performance all combine to make it one of the most important Lincoln wheat pennies to understand and appreciate. Many people overlook these coins, but those who take the time to learn their true value often discover that history, rarity, and opportunity can come together in the smallest denominations of American coinage. Coin number 2. Imagine pulling a single penny from an old jar and realizing it's a 1945 wheat penny with no mint mark. To most people it looks ordinary, but collectors recognize this exact coin as one of the most valuable wheat pennies ever struck. Millions of Americans have handled this penny without knowing what makes it special, And the difference between a common coin and a highly valuable one comes down to details most people never check. Once you understand why the 1945 no-mint-mark wheat penny matters, you'll never ignore another penny again. The 1945 wheat penny with no mint mark was struck at the Philadelphia Mint during the final year of World War II, a time when the United States was still operating under intense industrial pressure. Every coin produced during this period reflects a nation finishing one of the most important chapters in its history. The Philadelphia Mint, which did not use mint marks at the time, produced massive quantities of pennies to keep commerce moving. Yet despite these high numbers, truly valuable examples of the 1945 wheat penny without a mint mark are far scarcer than most people realize. By 1945, the U.S. Mint had returned to copper-based planchets after the steel cents of 1943. These wheat pennies were made using recycled wartime materials, including copper recovered from military sources. That alone gives the 1945 wheat penny a powerful historical connection. It represents the closing moments of a global conflict and the return to normal American life. Coins from transition periods like this are always closely watched by collectors because they mark change, and change creates long-term interest. The design of the 1945 wheat penny is one of the most iconic in American coinage. Abraham Lincoln's portrait on the obverse symbolizes leadership during difficult times, while the wheat ears on the reverse represent stability and growth. Because the wheat penny design ended in 1958, every Lincoln wheat cent benefits from nostalgia and long-standing collector demand. The 1945 no-mint mark issue, tied directly to the end of World War II, holds a special place within that series. Condition is one of the most important factors in determining how valuable a 1945 wheat penny with no mint mark can be. Most of these coins circulated heavily during the post-war years. They were used daily, save casually, and often exposed to damage, cleaning, or wear. As a result, coins that still show strong detail on Lincoln's face, clear lettering, and well-defined wheat stalks are much harder to find than the raw mintage numbers suggest. Strike quality also plays a major role. Wartime and post-war production often meant dies were pushed beyond their ideal lifespan. Weak strikes are common, especially on the wheat ears and the date. Coins that show a bold date, sharp rims, and full design elements immediately stand out to experienced collectors. These are the examples that move from being old pennies into the category of highly desirable collectibles. Another reason the 1945 wheat penny with no mint mark is considered valuable is survival rate. While millions were minted, far fewer exist today in collector quality condition. Over decades, many were lost, corroded, damaged, or melted. Each year that passes reduces the number of original, problem-free coins still available. This natural reduction increases demand for surviving examples, especially those that have avoided harsh cleaning or environmental damage. Collectors also pay close attention to originality. A 1945 wheat penny that retains its natural color and surface texture is far more desirable than one that has been altered. Even subtle changes can affect how collectors view a coin. Because so many people cleaned pennies in the past, truly original examples have become increasingly difficult to locate. This scarcity adds to the long-term value of the 1945 no mint mark issue. Error varieties further increase interest in this coin. While not common, errors related to planchets, die wear, and striking pressure do exist from this period. The possibility that a 1945 wheat penny could display an unusual characteristic keeps collectors examining every example carefully. This constant attention helps maintain strong demand for the date as a whole, even among advanced collectors. Market demand for wheat pennies has remained steady for decades, and wartime issues consistently perform well. The 1945 wheat penny with no mint mark often appears on want lists because it represents both a historical endpoint and a widely collected design. As new collectors enter the hobby, Lincoln wheat pennies are often their starting point, and that continuous interest supports prices across the series. The emotional connection to 1945 also matters. This was the year the war ended, soldiers returned home, and America entered a new era. Coins minted during this time were part of everyday life during a moment of national relief and transition. That connection adds intangible value that cannot be measured by metal content alone. Collectors value stories, and the 1945 Wheat Penny tells one of the most important stories in U.S. history. Over time, auction records have shown that the best examples of the 1945 Wheat Penny with no mint mark are fiercely contested. Coins with exceptional eye appeal, strong strikes, and original surfaces consistently attract premium bids. This competition proves that collectors do not view this coin as ordinary, but as an important part of the Lincoln Cent series. As more people become interested in tangible pieces of American history, demand for classic coins continues to grow. The 1945 Wheat Penny benefits from this trend because it is affordable at lower levels, yet highly valuable at the top end. That wide range of appeal keeps it relevant in both beginner collections and advanced portfolios. Now here is the part that most people never expect. While average examples may appear modest, the finest known examples of the 1945 Wheat Penny with no mint mark have reached astonishing heights. In fact, the highest price ever recorded at auction for a 1945 Wheat Penny with no mint mark is $95,000, a result that clearly shows how valuable this coin can be when condition, rarity, and demand come together. This is why every 1945 Wheat Penny deserves careful attention. Whether it comes from an old collection, a family inheritance, or a forgotten jar of change, this coin carries historical weight and real potential. Its connection to the end of World War II, its classic design, and its proven auction performance all combine to make the 1945 no-mint mark Wheat Penny one of the most important and valuable coins for collectors to understand. Many people overlook these pennies, but those who take the time to learn what makes them special often discover that true value can be hiding in the smallest corners of American history. Coin number 3. What if I told you a single penny dated 1951 with an S mint mark has quietly become one of the most powerful coins in the Lincoln Wheat series? To most people it looks like just another old penny, but collectors know this exact 1951 S Wheat Penny has details that separate it from millions of others. The reason it matters has nothing to do with face value and everything to do with what most Americans never look for. Stay with this video, because once you understand why the 1951 S Wheat Penny is so important, you'll never overlook a penny again. The 1951 S Wheat Penny was struck at the San Francisco Mint during a period when the United States was adjusting to post-World War II recovery. Millions of coins were produced to meet the needs of everyday commerce. Yet even with these high numbers, the 1951 S issue remains one of the most sought-after pennies for collectors. Its small mint mark, simple as it looks, identifies a coin that is part of a very specific production run, and that detail alone makes it special in the eyes of serious numismatists. This penny is a classic example of the Lincoln Wheat design, which by 1951 had already become iconic. Abraham Lincoln's portrait on the obverse has been celebrated for decades, and the wheat ears on the reverse symbolize prosperity and stability, themes that resonated strongly with Americans in the early 1950s. The 1951 S Wheat Penny is part of a series that connects modern collectors to a tangible piece of American history, and that historical significance plays a big role in its enduring appeal. Condition is one of the biggest factors in determining which 1951 S Wheat Penny stand out. Most circulated coins show signs of wear on Lincoln's portrait and the wheat ears on the reverse. But coins that retain sharp detail, strong edges, and original surfaces are far rarer than their mintage numbers suggest. These high-grade examples are the ones that serious collectors hunt for, and they often command far more attention than ordinary circulated pennies. Strike quality also matters a great deal. During the production of the 1951 S Wheat Penny, dies were heavily used, sometimes resulting in weaker strikes. Coins that show clear and bold date numerals, well-defined lettering, and full detail on the wheat stalks instantly attract the eyes of collectors. It's these subtle differences in strike, combined with originality and condition, that separate an average coin from a highly collectible one. Another reason the 1951 S Wheat Penny is so significant is survival rate. Although millions were minted, far fewer exist today in pristine condition. Many coins were lost, damaged, or melted over the decades, and original, problem-free examples have become increasingly scarce. This natural attrition over time increases demand and ensures that collectors will always be interested in well-preserved specimens. Collectors also look closely at originality and surface preservation. A 1951 Wheat penny that has retained its natural copper tone and has not been harshly cleaned is far more desirable than one that has been polished or altered. Even minor changes can significantly affect collector interest. Because of this, untouched examples are rare, and their scarcity further fuels demand among dedicated collectors. Errors and unusual varieties occasionally appear in this series, though they are uncommon. Planchet flaws, die cracks, and off-center strikes sometimes exist from this period, and they can draw additional attention from collectors. The very possibility that a 1951 Wheat penny could display an unusual characteristic encourages numismatists to examine each coin carefully, keeping interest high in this date and mint mark combination. Market demand for wheat pennies has remained steady for decades, and post-war coins like the 1951 issue continue to perform well. Collectors often aim to fill gaps in their series, and this coin is a key piece of the Lincoln Wheat series puzzle. Its combination of historical significance, recognizable design, and mint-specific production ensures that it is constantly sought after by both new and experienced collectors. The historical context of 1951 also adds to the coin's appeal. This was a period of post-war recovery. When families were rebuilding, industry was thriving, and the nation was focused on prosperity. Coins produced during this time were passed through countless hands in everyday transactions, connecting them to real moments in American history. Owning a 1951 Wheat penny is like holding a small piece of that story in your hand, which adds intangible interest beyond its physical characteristics. As collectors continue to pursue complete wheat penny collections, the 1951 issue is consistently one of the most examined and scrutinized coins. Its combination of scarcity, condition sensitivity, and historical significance creates a natural allure. Coins that retain full detail and original surfaces are especially coveted, which ensures that this penny will remain important for years to come. Now, for those who have been watching carefully, it's important to note just how far collector interest can take this coin. While average circulated examples may be modestly priced, the finest known examples of the 1951 Wheat penny have achieved remarkable auction results. In fact, the highest price ever recorded at auction for a 1951 Wheat penny is $70,000, proving that under the right conditions, this coin is one of the most powerful and valuable pennies in the Lincoln Wheat series. This is why every 1951 Wheat penny deserves careful attention. Whether it comes from an old jar of change, a family collection, or a box of coins inherited over decades, this penny carries historical significance and the potential to stand out in any collection. Its connection to the post-war era, its classic design, and its proven performance in auctions all combine to make the 1951 Wheat penny one of the most important and sought-after coins in the Lincoln Wheat series. Many Americans overlook these pennies every day, but those who understand their true importance often discover that history and rarity can come together in the smallest denominations of American coinage. Coin number 4. Most people think a 1952 Wheat penny is just another coin from the post-war era. But what if I told you this ordinary-looking penny hides secrets that could make it one of the most sought-after coins in the Lincoln Wheat series? From tiny details in the strike to subtle characteristics only collectors notice, this penny separates the casual finder from serious collectors. Stay with this video, because by the end, you'll see why the 1952 Wheat penny isn't just another penny, and why it commands attention decades after it left the mint. The 1952 Wheat penny was struck at the Denver Mint during a time when the United States was firmly in the post-war recovery period. Millions of coins were minted to meet daily commerce. Yet even with this high output, the Denver minted 1952 remains a standout for collectors. Its mint mark, small as it appears, identifies a coin that belongs to a very specific production run, one that today is highly examined for condition, strike, and originality. By 1952, the Lincoln Wheat Penny design had already become iconic. Abraham Lincoln's portrait on the obverse remained a symbol of leadership and integrity, while the wheat ears on the reverse represented stability and growth in an evolving America. The 1952 D Wheat Penny captures the spirit of the early 1950s and serves as a tangible connection to a period when families, industry, and the nation were rebuilding and expanding. Condition is key to understanding why some 1952 D Wheat pennies stand out. While most circulated pennies show wear on Lincoln's face and on the wheat stalks, coins that retain strong detail, original surfaces, and sharp rims are far rarer than mintage numbers suggest. These premium examples are the ones collectors actively seek, and they can be the difference between a coin that's ordinary and one that truly commands attention in the market. Strike quality also plays a major role in a 1952 D Wheat penny's appeal. During production, dies were sometimes pushed past their ideal lifespan, resulting in weaker strikes on certain coins. A coin with bold date numerals, crisp lettering, and fully detailed wheat stalks immediately draws the eye of collectors. These subtle details separate a standard circulated coin from one that could eventually reach record auction prices. Originality and surface preservation are equally important. A 1952 D Wheat penny that retains its natural copper tone and has not been harshly cleaned is far more desirable than one that has been polished or altered. Even minor changes can significantly affect collector interest. Because of this, untouched examples of the 1952 D are much rarer than they might appear, further increasing demand. Survival rate also affects value. While millions of 1952 D pennies were struck, far fewer remain today in collector-quality condition. Many were lost, damaged, or worn through decades of circulation. Coins that survived in excellent condition without corrosion, heavy wear, or cleaning are scarce, making them the primary target for serious collectors. Error varieties and unique characteristics occasionally appear among 1952 D Wheat pennies. Planchet flaws, die cracks, or slightly off-center strikes can attract additional attention from collectors, even if they are rare. The very possibility that a coin could display one of these unusual traits encourages collectors to examine each penny closely, maintaining strong interest in the 1952 D. The 1952 D Wheat penny also benefits from consistent market demand. Post-war Lincoln Wheat pennies continue to be popular among both beginner and advanced collectors. Because this penny sits at the intersection of history, design, and scarcity, it has enduring appeal. Collectors often seek it to complete series sets or to secure high-grade examples, ensuring the coin remains relevant decades after it left the mint. Historical context adds another layer of importance. The 1950s were a time of national growth and prosperity. Coins from this era were part of daily life and carried through countless hands, connecting them to the era's economic and social developments. Owning a 1952 D Wheat penny allows collectors to hold a piece of this history, making it more than just a coin, but a story of American life in the early post-war years. As collector awareness increases, the 1952 D Wheat penny becomes more than just a piece of copper. Advanced collectors focus on details like strike quality, luster, and originality, which differentiate average coins from the finest specimens. Coins in exceptional condition not only hold historical significance, but also command attention in private collections and auctions. Now, for those who understand the significance of condition, rarity, and history, the potential of this coin becomes clear. While many circulated examples may appear ordinary, the finest known 1952 D Wheat pennies have achieved incredible auction results. In fact, the highest price ever recorded at auction for a 1952 D Wheat penny is $69,000, a testament to the coin's rarity, condition, and enduring appeal among collectors. This is why every 1952 D Wheat penny deserves a closer look. Whether it comes from a jar of change, a family collection, or decades-old storage, this penny carries historical significance and collector potential. Its connection to the post-war era, its classic Lincoln Wheat design, and its proven performance at auction combine to make the 1952 Wheat Penny one of the most important and sought-after coins in the Lincoln Wheat series. Many Americans overlook these coins every day, but those who understand their true importance often discover that history, rarity, and value can all be hidden in the smallest denominations of American coinage. Every one of these coins we've explored today, from a 1944 no-mintmark, 1945 no-mintmark, 1951s, to the 1952 Wheat Pennies, carries incredible history, scarcity, and collector value. These pennies are more than just small copper coins. They are tangible pieces of American history that can surprise even the most casual collector. If you found this video fascinating, don't stop here. Make sure to watch my video on Eisenhower dollar coins, where I reveal the rarest, most valuable dollars that collectors are chasing right now. And while you're here, subscribe to my channel, like this video, share it with friends, and leave a comment telling me which coin surprised you the most. Staying connected means you'll never miss the rare coins that could be hiding in your own pocket or collection.